You know, there were entanglements created by the public sector that were not readily apparent to those folks of very good heart and very good intent. And eventually we decided that due to politics being the art of the possible, that we were going to drop that provision of the bill, but that we were hopeful that the investment unleashed by the private sector would discourage those public sector entrants. And I would say for the largest part that has occurred, that the municipalities have seen a greater provision of service. We had, well, the first thing AT&T did was go out and wire DSL into 32 central offices in communities so small that they didn't even have a mayor. You know, we were talking town council if they had anything. And so it was helping in the areas that they were looking for. We also guaranteed PEG channels, current PEG channel access to any new entrant providers. We put together a state lifeline fund because if we felt that we were going to allow for the increase of basic service rates, we needed to make sure that those most vulnerable populations did have the opportunity for some subsidy. And that, to my knowledge, has been successful as well. What's the impact? More than 2,000 new jobs. 425 DSL call center jobs in Indianapolis, 750 call center jobs in Evansville, 475 jobs across the state, 300 new workers for Verizon. Comcast added 225 new folks. More than $850 million in announced investments in the state. Everything from the largest of the large, $400 million from AT&T, to some surprisingly large investments by small telco providers. Smithville Telephone, which is a small family-owned business, put up a $90 million package of investment because they felt the market was right for them. 35 video franchises granted. Many of our mid-sized communities seeing video competition. The rate, what we've typically seen is that cable has upped their speed rather than lowered their prices, although there are some promotional pricing opportunities out there. I know for myself, from a personal example, I'm about, I think, 50 feet too far to get away to get DSL at my home, and so therefore I'm paying $44.95 a month for basic internet access. If I was about 50 feet closer, I'd be paying $14.95 a month because of the competition created by the multiple providers. Where do we go from here? Indiana is, right now, I've got a bill to follow on that whole best practices theory. We're looking at what Connected Nation has done, what Connect Kentucky accomplished with their broadband mapping. We're trying to find exactly where those underserved and unserved areas are down to the census tract level. We are still trying to evaluate whether any of the federal money will be available to us to do so because cost is an issue. We're looking at some sales tax exemptions and potentially some personal property tax exemptions to encourage additional investments. In fact, that's something that's very much in the mix right now. But what we have in Indiana has been summarized by a handful of folks, including, I think, the Discovery Institute, as the most progressive telecommunications reform bill in the nation. Ball State University's Digital Policy Institute has echoed that comment. We have a largely, if not entirely, and I think maybe entirely is accurate, technologically neutral telecommunications regime in the state of Indiana. It doesn't matter whether you're a VoIP provider, a wireless provider, a landline provider, or a cable company, you are operating under the same set of rules, which we think is integral to spurring that competition, that we're not biasing against one technology or another. And I would simply say that as we face budget hard times, as I'm sure Ohio is, that sometimes these difficulties are the greatest enablers to meaningful and lasting change. You have to think anew because circumstances dictate it. Where if that's comfortable status quo, you didn't have the imperative to do something differently, you might not. But I would simply challenge the state of Ohio to join us and make the Midwest an island of technological innovation. we've been too long overlooked, and our changing economic circumstances require us to do that new thinking. With that, thank you very much. I'd be happy to take any questions within the constraints of whatever your time is.